Welcome once again to the Hermitage, the home of Andrew Jackson. My name is Mike Zimmerman. I'm the Director of Interpretation here for this site. I welcome you inside the Hermitage mansion itself. Now, you have just come inside the entryway to the home. Now, of course, Jackson had many visitors when he was here as our president in retirement. Now, the legend says that it could be upwards of 15 or even 20 visitors that could bless this home. Some of them told him they were coming. They were very notable people, such as the President of the United States at the time, or it actually could be just somebody who showed up. Many people showed up wanting to shake the hand of the man who won the Battle of New Orleans. Well, whether they were announced or unannounced, Southern hospitality always rings true. You get two things, a hot meal and a place to stay. Now, when you came to visit the Hermitage, you'd knock on the front door, and the delineation of whether or not you were even able to come in this front door would be given by the person who answered it. Now, it would not be Jackson himself. It's rather uncouth for the man to answer his own front door. No, instead, it would be this woman here. This here is Hannah. Now, Hannah is an enslaved woman who is actually head of all 10 household enslaved here within the mansion. Hannah has been with Jackson for quite a long time. She was actually given to Jackson at the age of 8 as a payment for one of his law cases. She would be raised in the domestic duties of the home by Andrew and Rachel, but by the time you see her here in her older age, she is now in charge of 10 household enslaved working within the mansion. Now, Hannah is going to ask you a very important question. Are you here to see the general? Now, of course, if you said, no, I'm here to see Junior, his adopted son, or maybe even to do business as a vendor, you're not welcome in this front door. I'm sorry, you're going to have to go around to the farm office door on the side. But if you said yes, well then, of course, you are welcome in the front door because you are obviously a formal guest here at the Hermitage. Now, for Hannah, she's going to welcome you in. She'll bring you into this grand entryway hall, and she's going to welcome you here into the front formal parlor. So if you come this way, you'll see where you would have awaited reception by the general. Now, looking inside this formal parlor, you're going to see many things that you're used to. Fine furnishings, gold leaf wallpaper, very much the best. But at the same time, you're seeing things that are very different than you probably expected. You're seeing knickknacks. You're seeing war portraits and memorials around, all kinds of things, down to even the funny little statue of Napoleon over on the mantle. Now, hopefully, by the time the general has come in to greet you, these have inspired you to ask a question or two of the general. So by the time he comes in, you would ask a question, for example, say, "Excuse me, General, here on your center table, you have a rusted bayonet. Why is that? That's rather uncouth." He would happily answer, "I'm glad that you noticed. That there is rescued from the battlefield of New Orleans itself. Let me tell you all about that battle." You see, you've actually fallen victim to one of the general's classic traps. He has actually inspired you to ask questions so that he could turn the conversation from what you wanted to talk about to what he wanted to talk about instead. Now, while it says that Jackson only took 37 minutes to win the Battle of New Orleans, the legend says it's going to take him much longer to tell the story of New Orleans than that. This is one of his favorite stories. You see, all the artifacts in the room are designed to tell you the story of America. Down from the little sliver of Plymouth Rock on the table to the red candle that is actually rescued from the tent of Lord Cornwallis at the surrender of the Revolutionary War. So Jackson would entertain you within this room and tell you stories of the country that he was so proud to lead. Now, with 15 to 20 visitors coming on a given day, this room's going to get quite small. So thankfully, the doors between one parlor and another fold open so that if needs be, they can open those doors and welcome the guests into a larger space, accommodating them even more so back to the family parlor. Now, if you come with me this way, you can see the family parlor as well. Now, the family parlor is more quite true to its name. In here, you finally do have family portraits up on the walls. Above the door frame, on the left, is the portrait of his adopted son, Andrew Jr., holding his favorite thing, a hunting rifle. Above the piano, on the right, across from him, is his wife, the beautiful Sarah York of Philadelphia. This is where the family would spend their time at the end of a long day, as they were served small treats and drinks by the enslaved, relaxing, playing games, telling stories, playing music, enjoying fine music and reading itself. Now you see there are multiple musical instruments around the room because the family is quite musical. In the far corner of that piano, the most expensive item in the entire home. That there is a piano forte, and it cost the general $450. That is a mighty fine price because, if you keep in context, you could buy an acre of farmland for only 50 cents an acre. So if you do the math, that's nearly 900 acres of piano. What is Jackson going to do with such an expensive gift? Well, of course, give it to his granddaughter, little Rachel. After all, it was her 7th birthday. I guess we can tell who the favorite grandchild really was. Now, as you see in the room, even this guitar, this French guitar sitting right here is Sarah's guitar. They love to hear music of the day and were very cultured indeed, even though they were out here on the frontier, the wilds of Tennessee. But as a formal guest, while this room, still with its continued gold leaf wallpaper and colorful carpet to boot coming from the formal parlor, was not the only guest area that was meant to impress. As we turn back out here towards the entryway, you can see this amazing wallpaper. This entryway was supposed to greet you as well and impress you. You see the amazing Telemachus wallpaper. The Telemachus wallpaper is 183 years old. This is the wallpaper that would be chosen by Rachel out of a black and white catalog from the Dufour Company of Paris, France. Now, Rachel chose this wallpaper for a few reasons. One, not only was it a favorite story, this is a takeoff of Homer's Odyssey, telling the story of Telemachus as he searches for his father Odysseus on the island of Calypso. But it also is a teaching tool. You could utilize it to teach your children virtues, such as fortitude, overcoming adversity and temptation, perhaps even paternal connection to a father. But even more so, when the guests come in and they see this amazing Telemachus wallpaper on the walls, they would think, my, the Jacksons are so genteel in culture, even out here on the frontier. But this beautiful wallpaper would definitely be a talking point. So much so, this is not a pass-through space. This is not a simple hallway space like your house or mine, where we leave our muddy boots and we have our family picture of our trip to Disneyland. No, this is actually a very busy space where parties would be held, even a wedding and a funeral in the history of this home. You see, the Jacksons would use the elongated long space here to dance the Virginia Reel and other amazing dances, while the enslaved play music tucked underneath the stairs, almost out of the way and out of sight. They would utilize this space to entertain and show their culture as they try to entertain so many guests. Now, the last thing I'd like to show you before we move on in this amazing house is this beautiful chandelier. Now, this chandelier is an original, just like in the parlors. Now, it is burning clear and bright, just as it should for a formal guest. Now, of course, today we're doing that by electricity. But at the time, it would have been burning just as clear and bright because it would have been done by whale oil. Whale oil is a very pricey composition. It is $2.50 a gallon, coming all the way from Nantucket. Now, the Jacksons are putting on the risk for you because, well, it burns clear, bright, no smell whatsoever, and no residue. Truly a fine sight for a guest. But if it's just a regular day and there's no guests here, well, they're not going to be putting on the ritz for themselves. They'll be using something more in abundance here on the farm, such as lard oil. Of course, it's a working plantation. There's a lot of hogs on this property, and a good plantation uses a hog everything but the squeal. So they're going to go ahead and use that lard oil, but the bad part is it's going to burn more dull. It's going to leave black soot on the walls, and it's going to smell a lot like burnt bacon in here. So you knew you were a formal guest when you entered in through the doors. You saw the bright, clear light shining your way, and that was definitely a sign they are trying to impress you. So thank you for joining us today here in the front entryway of the home. As always, we love and thank you for your support. And if you want more information or other things that we're up to, go ahead and check out our website. Go to thehermitage.com to find out so much more, and we're very thankful you're with us.